What is accessibility? The Americans with Disabilities Act is bold civil rights legislation passed in 1990 with the intent of ending disability discrimination in all aspects of public life, including higher education. In 2008, the ADA was amended in response to a pattern of court decisions that served to restrict the law's reach. The Amendments Act clarified Congress's original intent by shifting the focus away from strict diagnostic standards in favor of broad coverage and considerations of all possible reasonable accommodations to promote meaningful inclusion. From an academic standpoint, in post-secondary settings, the ADA, as amended, requires instructors to provide reasonable accommodations and modifications to grant full and equitable participation by any individual who has a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits a major life activity, has a record of having such an impairment, or is regarded as having such an impairment. Accommodations and modifications often reflect a mindset where disability is an afterthought. For example, courses are not designed with these access requirements of students with disabilities in mind. The inclusion of students with disabilities is treated as a special circumstance and not a normal part of the academic life. Although some application of accommodations and modifications may always be needed, a preferable approach is to design courses and class activities accounting for the access requirements of diverse learners, including students with disabilities. Accessibility is the word used to describe whether a product, for example, a website, mobile site, digital content, or application, can be used by people of varying abilities. There are 4 broad categories of accessibility: visual, auditory, ambulatory, and cognitive. Let's explore how each of these categories relate to digital content of an online course. Visual accessibility relates to the ability of an individual with low or no vision to perceive information that is presented on the screen. A person with a visual impairment may use a screen reader that converts visual information to audio or digital braille display that converts information to tactile content. In order for these assistive technologies to function, the visual content needs to have information and organization that is accessible. For example, alternative text for an image describes the educational context of that image. Auditory accessibility relates to the ability of individuals with hearing impairments to be able to learn from audio content. Closed or open captions are synchronized text alternatives to audio for video recordings. Transcript files convert the dialogue of a video or podcast to a static document. Ambulatory accessibility relates to the requirements for movement. In online courses, this affects the need to use a mouse. Navigation that allows for keyboard-only interaction improves accessibility. Speech-to-text software helps those who may experience difficulty typing. Cognitive disabilities are most heavily stigmatized and also most likely to be invisible. Thoughtful layout and easy navigation of course content decreases the burden for learners with cognitive impairment. In the image of equality versus equity, 3 children are trying to watch a baseball game over a wooden fence. Initially, all 3 children are standing on the same size wooden crates, but the shortest child is not able to see over the fence. While the distribution of crates is equal, it is not equitable. Crates are then redistributed, leaving the tallest child without a crate and the shortest child balanced on 2 crates. This is a good way to describe reasonable accommodations provided by ADA compliance. The crates for the smallest child provide a reasonable accommodation for that child to be able to view the game. However, the smallest child may have missed a key play while waiting for the crate. The tallest child may feel it is unfair that his crate was taken away and may feel resentment towards the child receiving the accommodation. Similarly, a student in a class can fall behind while waiting for accommodations to be implemented, and learners with disabilities may experience stigma. Furthermore, accommodations are only available to students with documented disabilities who register with the Office of Disability Services. The National Academy of Higher Education reports that 19% of undergraduate students have documented disabilities. Of those, 60 to 80% choose not to disclose their disabilities. Accommodations would leave these students behind, while proactive accessibility and universal design includes all learners. Students may be choosing online courses or community college because of their unique learning needs or preferences, and numbers may be even higher. National statistics indicate that 35% of those over age 25 without a disability have completed a bachelor's degree. In comparison, only 16% of those with a disability in the same age group have completed a bachelor's. In the ballpark analogy, the solid wooden fence has been replaced by a chain link fence. All children can see the baseball game immediately. It precludes the need for retroactive accommodations and eliminates stigma. As educators, it is our responsibility to remove the barriers to learning. This can be done to a large extent by implementing accessibility best practices.